Hello, and welcome back for our seventh presentation in the St. Anne Family Faith Formation series. I hope that we still have many of you with us. Our journey is nearing its climax, so I hope you're doing well and that your family has grown in this experience. This week we're going to pivot once again in a new direction, but before we do so, let's take a quick look once again at where we've been. We began this journey by building a foundation and learning how to discuss things within our families in a good and healthy way. Following this, we looked at some scriptural passages that helped us to consider the person of Jesus and how our personal understanding of who he is influenced how our lives are affected. After this discussion, we moved to look at some passages from the Catechism that both reflected on the Church's view of the Christian family, as well as our individual role as Christians. By doing this, we took an opportunity to really reflect on our response to baptism and our role in the world today as Christians. Now, beginning with this presentation and into next week, we will focus on our relationship to God in prayer. Now, for many Catholics, they equate Christian prayer to those memorized prayers that they learned from childhood and can still repeat in their sleep. Hopefully, as adults, we've grown into the idea that prayer is really something more. It's really communication with God. While this may include rote prayers, what prayer in the general sense is really a development and strengthening of our relationship with our Creator. There are several aspects of prayer that must be understood, so before we venture into this discussion, let's make sure that we're clear about this. First, we must approach prayer with our God the same way that we approach a relationship with any other person we encounter. A relationship is give and take, talking and listening. Just as we would tire of a relationship in which only the other person talked, or never did, or if the only time someone approached us is when they needed something, or if true sharing was never entered into. We must enter into our relationship with God with the understanding that it will take time, effort, and honesty. Prayer is about us talking and listening. At times we speak to God with questions, desires, or true needs. Perhaps we don't understand something happening in our lives, or we're just confused about which direction to take. Maybe we want to express our thanks to God for all of our blessings or simply something specific. Or maybe we're upset about something and need to express our anger. God wants us to bring everything to Him, but He also wants us to listen as well. It's likely that you're not going to get a burning bush or a voice from heaven like Moses, but God will speak to you. Far too often, however, most people never take the time to listen. So while you're sharing everything with Him, allow God to respond. You'll find that much of the weight that we carry around can be shared with Jesus, just like the cross that He carried was shared by Simon of Cyrene. Whatever it is, know that when you share your concerns with God, He will assist you as a loving Father. Second, we must get into the habit of meeting with and speaking with God on a regular basis. In today's world, this takes a special focus. Everyone is busy, but if we're too busy for God, then what does that say about us? And what does it say about how much value that we place on our relationship with Him? We must remember that God is our Creator, and He wants nothing more than to be in a loving relationship with us. That way, when we really need something, really need something, we will have a good reason to approach our friend with a real need. Third, we need to understand the depth of which God wants to take us. God doesn't want to be a casual acquaintance, but a true friend and a true companion. In order for any relationship to grow, it takes time to become comfortable sharing everything of importance. But if you only knew the richness of God wants for you, you would never hesitate to take everything to Him, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Besides, God knows it all anyway. God only wants us to come face to face with our true selves so that He can take us where we're being called to be. Finally, if you don't think you need to pray, then you must think you're better than the saints or even Jesus Himself. They all prayed, and they prayed regularly. They prayed at important moments of their lives, and they prayed during the mundane. They prayed when they were up, and they prayed when they were down. They prayed when they felt they needed something, and when they simply wanted to thank God for even the smallest of blessings. They prayed for themselves, and they prayed for others. And all of them still do today. Our church teaches that even those who have died and have gone to heaven or are on their way to heaven can still offer petitions on our behalf before God the Father. So let's take a more focused effort on prayer this week. If you're just beginning or starting over again, do so knowing that God is calling us to a renewed relationship with Him. God is calling us to know Him more and more each day so that we can grow to know Him more fully with each moment that we share together. Eventually, God hopes to be able to say that He and you are both in love, with all the benefits and joy that being in love comes with. I know this may sound corny, but God doesn't care. He made you, He loves you, and He wants to be in love with you as well. I hope to see you again next week as we journey ever closer to our heavenly reward. But as Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So let's tap into that and continue to grow towards seeing and feeling it more fully. So until next week, stay safe and healthy until we meet in person again on October 27th. God bless you, and may God bless your family as well.